Hello everyone. So this video is recorded on the day of Halloween. Historically, Halloween was originated from a Celtic festival of Samhain, marking the end of the harvest and the belief that the boundary between the living and the dead was thin. So speaking of end of harvest, I've been passionate about anthropology and had a curious mind to fall in love with the science of well-being, physical, mental, and emotional well-being for about 10 years now. And so this video is basically me sharing some of the magics that I've accumulated in terms of knowledge since I started caring about this. So it can be helpful to hopefully many of you. So, since it's Halloween, let's discuss about how we can understand what happened to the people before our time and how that's impacted us. So, no matter if you believe in the descendants of Adam and Eve or if you believe more in cavemen's and prehistoric time, there's no denying that the science tells us today that we have genes and DNA, and these genes and this DNA has an impact on our lives. And so these ancestral tribes that we descend from, that were living very, very naturally, had some specific dynamics in their lives, some social dynamics, cultural dynamics, and survival dynamics with their environment. And so these have shaped how we work today, how we function as humans. And so let me tell you about human lives and what they are about in a nutshell. So on this photo, which is captured from this presentation from Alex Hormozi for his business school, is explaining how you can monetize a community by using his value equation that is put together after being passionate about the world of business and making money for a long time and being very successful in that realm. Well, it turns out there's much more to this equation than just applying this for business. It's not only about making something valuable for someone else, but it's also how this works for an individual, on how us as humans are basically a machine that are made to pass on our genes, what makes us uniquely special, and increases the likelihood of us passing on this special magic, this uniqueness, or the one of people who are genetically close to us, to the next generation. And so this is the principle of life, right? And so why is this important? It's because basically our individual machine, our life machine as human, has this brain that is basically always trying to compute the return on investment of every action we could possibly take. And so because for our ancestors it was very risky for them to do anything to potentially get more energy through getting more food and resources for them to be able to survive another day until they can reproduce and pass on their genes, or survive another day and try to mate with someone, or survive another day and try to raise their offsprings for themselves to survive until they can find a mate and reproduce and pass on their genes. Then we have this kind of invisible formula that's running an equation in our mind all the time that we don't know about, which is basically saying like, okay, is this worse for me to actually do the things that I'd like to do? Sometimes this is conscious choice, sometimes it's not a conscious choice. All the things around procrastination and fear and fatigue, they are all related to this. So the equation that you're seeing on the screen that Alex Hormozi applies to bringing value to someone else through a business, service, or product, this works exactly the same for an individual subconscious mind to take any action. So the outcome here on this equation at the top, on the top part of this equation, the outcome is the action, like what I could possibly do right now as my physical body, supported by my mental capabilities, my mind, and by what my emotions tell me, right? About my environment and how I feel internally and how I feel about the external world, including, people, other people. And so this outcome, that's possible outcome, then it's the matter of like how likely is it for this action I'm about to take to actually provide me access to a higher chance of being able to pass on my genes or the genes of people who are genetically close to me, so my siblings and so on. And so what is the risk on that action, like how probable it is? So low risk here on the top right hand side is equivalent to high probability of success, right? Low risk equals high probability of success. These two things are equivalent. And so if I'm about to take this action of like, I might just need to walk 10 kilometers to go and find, let's say for ancestors, find a deer and hunt it, then this has an energetic cost of using the energy that I stored from the food that I had and the water that I drank to be able to make it to go up to that deer and then hunt it down and kill it and then eat some of it and then bring some of the rest for the rest of the tribe I'm part of, right? So that is that computation that's being done all the time in our brain. And then in the bottom part of this equation, it's the time delay times the effort and the sacrifice. So same thing here. The longer it's going to take me to achieve that thing, that action, to be able to one day to hopefully replenish my energy from it, or to be able to pass on my genes through mates, through raising a offspring, and so on and so on, the more I'm likely to die before that. The positive outcome, hopefully, of that action for me is to be a reality. One of the specificities of the human brain is that at rest it consumes about 40% of our energy, right? So it's very calorically intensive. And so because of that, the longer a positive outcome to replenish this energy or passing on our genes takes to become a reality, the more risky it is to take that action. And so if our brain evaluates that it's better to take another action that will maybe have the same probability of positive outcome, and it's going to take less time to be achieved, then our brain is going to decide to do that instead. Or alternatively, it might just decide to do nothing, which is also sometimes the best thing you can do. Is just like, let's not take action right now at all, because that thing is just far too risky, and there's not anything that's not risky, right? And based on your previous life experiences, on you taking some actions in your life and you always having negative outcomes, for example, then it might start freezing your brain. Your brain wants to start freezing any action for you to be done, and then it will, for example, make you depressed. So it's just one sort of consequence that we can take from this, okay? And then in terms of effort and sacrifice here, and the bottom right of this equation, It's like, how much energy do I need to spend to get some energy back? If it makes me burn 20 calories that I difficultly had to accumulate, as a hunter-gatherer in a ancient tribe, to be able to replenish 10 calories, then it doesn't make sense. You spend 20, you lose 10, right? And however, if it's this action that you're thinking to take could replenish your calorie storage, let's say, by 50 calories, and it takes you 20 to get them, then it's a good deal, right? It's a good return on investment. And then in terms of sacrifice, same, like, do you need to trade something useful for you right now or for your future, or the likelihood of you to survive in the future? Do you need to trade, I don't know, like you had stored some grains or stored some food that you had spared with someone else in the tribe, and he tells you, well, if you help me survive right now, you help my likelihood of surviving right now, because I'm starving, I was not able to replenish my food to eat enough, but you have some spare, then next time that I'll get access to food, I'll take some extra and I'll give it to you. But then here, talking of, so there's a sacrifice that you do in the present, hopefully that's not very costly, that makes you more likely to survive in the future. But however, this is only a good deal if you have a high risk, that's a high probability that this is going to be good for you in the future. What if you know that this person is not reliable, it's not trustworthy, right? Because you've seen them evolve since you were a kid, with a tribe with you, and they tend to cheat, they tend to promise and not deliver, right? They are not reliable. Then that's all of these things, all of these consequences, all of these computations that are made in your subconscious mind, right? And sometimes you're aware of them consciously, sometimes you're not aware of them consciously. So, and all the thresholds for physical pain, and all your tolerance to risks for gambling and other things, they all stem from this. So that's a lot of things that you can bring home and pay attention to on how you react to things. What's interesting though is that now in our modern times, all these rules, these invisible rules, I call them invisible forces, right? They are like ghosts, right? So once again, we are back on the Halloween theme here, but there's all these ghost forces that are playing in the background of your life, and you are not aware of them. Well, my goal is to help you understand them better, because the truth is that they've been optimized in an environment where supermarket didn't exist for you to replenish your calories easily, right? Your energy to live another day more easily, another week more easily, for you to get access to drinkable water, easily from a tap, which is just a few meters away from you most of the time, for you to be able to get access to many more opportunities to have new sexual mates, right? Because there's dating apps now, and we are billions of people, and so all these things around jealousy and so on have been optimized for the human brain in an environment, in dynamics that are ancestral and that don't apply to our modern world anymore. So hopefully through the following videos and me getting into details of how all of these things work and how you can try and understand that all of these ancestral risks are not risks anymore, it's going to help you go beyond these limitations, beyond these fears, right? And that's how you can then focus your life on one important thing, moving yourself from on that continuum between suffering and well-being, moving away from suffering, physical, emotional, and mental, and move towards a sustainable physical, emotional, and mental well-being. That's pretty much what life is about, so that then you can effectively do the magic of life, which is helping yourself and others improve their well-being. That's where you find purpose. That's how you and through then obviously passing on your genes or helping the genes of people you are culturally and genetically close to being passed on. Okay, now the other ways you can, with your ancestral mind, increase the likelihood of people you care about and that are genetically and culturally close to you to survive is by educating them, right? So in different ages, age range of our ancestors, there was different dynamics, different roles you were supposed to take. And so as an older adult, then it was time for you to teach the lessons of life that made you likely to be a successful tribe member, right? And to survive and to mate and to raise your offspring properly for them to survive and mate and so on. And so, that's what school is about here. That platform that Alex Hormozi animates. And that's what I'm doing here as well. I'm 40 years old now, and I thought it was just time to condense these 10 years of passion of anthropology and well-being and to help people on a wider scale improve their lives. I've already done this. I've beaten chronic depression for myself on my own through these discoveries. That's actually put me on a journey of passion of anthropology and well-being. And it's been 10 years now, and we say we reach mastery after about 10,000 years, and we say we reach mastery after about 10,000 hours of practicing and learning about something, and that's been done for me now. I've now done all of these 10,000 hours. We say that you reach mastery after, training, learning, and practicing an area of life for about 10,000 hours. And now it's been, through these 10 years of learning many hours per week, these 10,000 hours of passion of that topic. And I've helped myself going through a lot of chronic disorders, physical and mental. I've improved incredibly compared to when I was a child, or the first, let's say, 21st years of my life. My mental, physical, and emotional resilience and strength. I've helped others do the same. I've helped people get out of depression as well without using antidepressant, like in my case. And I've done many other things. And so let's talk about the last interesting information on this photo. So it's an incredible coincidence, but since Alex Hormozi in this presentation is taking the explanation for his value equation about community, well, it turns out that return on investment for any energy expenditure that an individual can take based on our ancestral environment inside of a tribe, how it's computed, and the risk associated to taking this action. It also applies to like a community-based consciousness and sort of physical group body. So instead of just considering an individual body and an individual mind and emotions, it also applies to like a group of people and how they problem solve things together, and how they by using their collective brain and their collective physical actions in the world, and how they collectively survive. So it's almost like uh, an, a human body with that return on investment on energy expenditure equation being run at the group level as well, not only at the individual level. And then, it's sort of like a trade-off and another equation that's being run here of like, okay, when do I do my action for the survival of the group and for my and or for my survival instead. So yeah, there is all of that magic at work. Hopefully some of the things that I've said here have been useful and I've clarified a few things for you. So yeah, remember there is all these invisible forces at play in your life, and you might not be able to reach, full well-being and your full potential and understanding where purpose lies in life if you don't understand all of these ancestral invisible forces, these ghosts. All right, so let's see how we can all become Ghostbusters on Halloween. All right, that's gonna be for the next videos. Take care, guys.